Hello, and welcome to the Prodigal Podcast, Legends of Philadelphia. We're your hosts. I'm Johnny Zito, and this is my schoolyard chum, Tony Trov.
Hello, everyone.
Joining us in the studio is our friend and fellow Philadelphian, Brian Bierman.
Hello.
You might be wondering, is this deja vu? Well, in addition to being Philadelphia natives, Trov and I have a lifestyle brand, South Felllini, that focuses on Philly culture and in-jokes. Lots of times, customers will ask us, is Canadian wildfire smoke healthier than Philly pollution? Or they want to know if the Eagles collapse was worse than the I-95 collapse.
Oh, wow.
So we decided to start this podcast as an easy explainer for new Philadelphians and a refresher for the old heads. The city fascinates and excites us, so we're hoping to share that with you.
Wasting no time.
We're back, baby.
I haven't seen you guys in over a year.
No, we all work together, but we don't talk to each other.
Zito, you've aged horribly.
Yeah, I was actually thinking because now we're on video. If you used to listen, it was on audio. And there's probably people who have never seen what we look like.
I know. I wonder if we look like what people imagine we look like.
No, I just want to apologize to those people who didn't see this. They're like, oh, I've listened to these three.
What a letdown.
A face for podcast.
Yeah.
Too bad we're on YouTube now.
I don't know. I'm gonna watch a unicorn video while I'm listening to it. So I'm gonna look at them.
This is a video that leads into conspiracy.
Yeah,
theory
if you
videos.
click, that's where the real YouTube money is.
Mhm.
Yeah, we haven't done it in like a year, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
year.
And
Almost
and-
a year to the day.
And as keeping the tradition, I didn't read the script.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
did
sweet.
no work,
I got
just like the old times.
just like
I feel like I'm home again.
So sometimes, I work at the store, South Felllini, 1507 East Passyunk
good
Avenue,
plug.
Great plug.
Good plug.
19147. But sometimes people come in and like talk about like, oh, I missed the podcast and stuff. And if you ever listen to the old ones, there's probably a lot of people who never listen, but I have like a bad memory with what we talked about,
The topics.
or like I never also know whatever we're talking about. I usually don't know. I'm the everyman.
Yeah.
You're
I'm the audience surrogate.
You're
'cause
the
them
entry
might not
point
know.
for people, yes.
So this person came in, and I can't remember their name. I feel bad, but they were like,
Point made.
Yeah,
Point made.
they were like, I do like history writing in Jersey, and I found your podcast because you guys do like history stuff, and they were like, I really love that episode, and I was like, oh, thank you, and they're like, I really love that episode about the poison ring.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like going off about it, and I'm like, oh, cool. But in my head, I'm like, we never did an episode. I was like, oh, they got us. Like, they probably did listen, but they got us confused with. I was like, we never did
You
that.
just
Some
don't.
other
But I was just
Philly
like,
history
oh,
podcast.
cool, yeah. I was like, and then after they left, I was like, did we do an episode? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, it was like number 80 or whatever. The Sicilian poison ring.
Yeah, well, we did 147 episodes, so it's easy to forget a few of them.
I probably forget all of them. So
It was during lockdown. It was just a different time.
yeah, that's how we started. It was we couldn't see each other. We started doing it like we're doing it now.
We did it the week COVID happened.
And then we did it from Skype, recording in our houses. So this is going to be new because I've never
actually been in the same room as you before.
And I'm a germaphobe, so I don't like the
Too close.
yeah,
Yeah.
very close. But we have to fit in for the cameras now.
Yeah, the set isn't as big as it might appear.
Yeah.
This curtain doesn't go forever.
I steam this curtain. If you wanna look at it.
That's the kind of care and dedication.
The set
that
is
goes
nice,
into
right?
it.
It is nice. It's like the Merv Griffin.
It is like the Merv Griffin
Shag-
show.
I don't know if you can see. There's shag carpeting. There's like a bar. We have
There's
now,
a bar.
Before it was we would edit it ourselves, but now we have like a team. We have 1, 2. We have 3. We have one person back there working. His name is Justin. Hi, Justin.
What'd you do with your time away from podcasting?
I learned a lot about myself. I just journeyed. I like Bruce Banner. I walked across the country.
Just solving problems as you went or causing them?
I thought I was solving them, but probably causing more problems. No, I did a lot. I went to Toronto for wrestling. I went to Niagara Falls. It was beautiful.
Slowly I turn.
Yeah, step by step. It's our first of many Three
Three
Stooges
Stooges.
references. I got COVID not too long ago. That was
That was your first time?
that was my first time.
First spin?
I got COVID this last year too.
So did I.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not as fun as everyone says it is. I don't know why.
I got COVID the first, like when COVID first came out.
I got it before it was cool. The OG COVID.
I thought I was gonna die in the Acme parking lot.
Yeah, a lot happened last year. When we were doing this, I was like, wow, I actually forgot about a lot of this. Like it was an eventful year while we were gone.
I know we took the year off, but we missed a lot of stuff that we would have otherwise gotten to talk about. Some of it actually is relevant to the topics that we covered on Legends of Philadelphia. For instance, John DeBella retired.
Yeah, we did that.
But his mustache did not.
He keeps
His
working.
mustache is still working.
Still working.
So John DeBella was like, I guess he's most famous for, he was a radio show host for years in Philly, but he's most famous for feuding with Howard Stern.
Getting
And
abused by Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And we did a whole episode about it. You can in the archives. So, but yeah, he finally retired.
Yeah. Speaking of retirements, Jim Gardner, who after a remarkable career spanning more than 4 decades on Action News, he anchored his final broadcast on December 21st, 2022. He brought us the big stories one last time at 6 p.m. before wrapping up one last time at the anchor desk. Quote, "What I need you to know is how much I'm going to miss you," end quote, which is, I believe, how we ended the podcast as well.
No, we just left like a dad going to get cigarettes.
We'll be right
Yeah,
back.
we just left. Yeah.
Another famous stash.
Yes.
Another
I
famous
know.
mustache.
That's a dying breed. They should have Jim Gardner be AI now that he retired. That's what Kiss is doing.
Yes.
They're just doing AI Kiss.
Yeah.
And AI Gene Simmons is even more of an ass. Sorry, I can't say that.
Like a Jim Gardner, Max Headroom kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like from the 80s, so it's like skips. Yeah, we still got Yuki Washington, so we're
Speaking of, oh, sorry.
Do you I think we probably talked about this on the podcast. When lockdown was starting, Yuki Washington did a cover of Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yes,
And
we talked about this.
I cried when I watched
Yuki.
I like Yuki better than Garfunkel. He should collab with Paul Simon.
Simon and Washington.
Yuki Washington doing Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yeah, it was
great.
like what you wanted during
It was
lockdown.
great. It was great.
When you're wiping down your groceries.
Wiping down your groceries.
That feels like
Another time.
so long ago,
Another
but
time.
it really wasn't.
Speaking of people who quit, Jim Kenney is no longer the mayor.
He didn't quit. He can't.
Cheryl Parker, a Democrat who's held office at the state and local level after first becoming involved in politics as a teenager, was elected as Philadelphia's 100th mayor, becoming the first woman to hold the post. Parker, 51, emerged from a crowded field of Democrats in the May primary and was heavily favored over Republican David O. in the mayoral elections in November. She will replace Jim Kenney, who was actually ineligible to run for re-election because he had already served 2 terms.
Quit. Yeah, now
Yeah, like he would win again. Oh, he's so popular. He should run a 3rd term.
Yeah, now there's a new person you can blame for everything. Cheryl Parker. It's not. Thanks, Kenny.
It's thanks, Parker.
Yeah.
Speaking of disasters, there is in March 2003, a pipeline ruptured at the Altuglas manufacturing plant in Bristol, Pennsylvania. About 8,100 to 12,000 gallons of latex paint solution overflowed from an on-site containment system. Everyone in the city received a mass text message warning us not to drink the water.
The water shortage was scary. I
don't
know. I have no jokes to make about that.
I was at the store when they sent the text message out, and it was like, literally, I went to the store not for water 10 minutes later, and it was fucking mayhem already. Like, people were like, there's a water shortage already. It was like, it only lasted for like the weekend because they were like, you can drink the water.
Yeah.
But for like immediately, it was just like people were like selling. Then they're like selling water.
Yeah.
I saw it posted on Reddit, and it was like hey, the city's putting out a warning that everyone should, stock up on water. And it was before the text went out. And let's bring up Acme again. I just stopped what I was doing. I ran over, got a case.
Move, pushing old ladies out.
Well, no one knew what was happening yet, and then the text went out, and it was like,
and then you were like, ah, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Now who needs water?
Sitting on a throne of Dasani.
Putting his feet
I was
up,
like spitting it out at people. Yeah.
I'm gonna wash my dog with all this
Wash my
water. Just cause. And people were like, can we have some little kids on crutches on
I had
one
my
crutch?
super soaker. Yep.
I spit on all this. Yeah, and then 2 days later, the Empire was gone because you could just drink the water.
I bought rain collection barrels, but
They're illegal,
Really?
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're
So Zito doesn't do anything with them.
What's
he just has
illegal
them.
about it? You can't collect rain?
I guess it's more about the mosquitoes that collect with the rain.
Yeah.
Speaking of other disasters,
Hit it.
Canadian wildfire smoke.
Oh, man.
Philadelphia residents were urged to remain cautious as the Department of Environmental Protection declared a code red air quality action on June 28, 2023. Smoke from Canadian wildfires triggered officials to issue an air quality alert, stating that conditions would be degrading overnight.
It was actually...
This felt truly a dystopian.
Yeah, that was actually nuts. I went to my friend's house in West Philly. I took the bus, and I was like, oh, this was like before it started, seemingly. And it was like the sun is like weird looking because it's like really red because there's all this crap in front of it. I didn't know that. But I was like, that's weird. So I went to my friend's house, and I came out, and it was like, man, there must have been a fire because it was like...
So smoky.
Yeah.
And then I took the bus back to where I live in South Philly, and it was like, it's still smoky, like everywhere. And then it was like a couple hours later, I read it was like the wildfires, and then it was like, I mean, it was bad. Like you couldn't bring your like animals out. I mean, it was like truly, you could see the dust and stuff outside. It was like it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I read tips for surviving the wildfire smoke. Use your pandemic mask when going outside.
See, luckily there's already been another pandemic. So you already have this on hand.
Stocked up on water.
Yeah.
We were stocked up on masks. Honestly, I was worried. Usually about like pets. Like I worried about my little pup.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
because they can't poop in the toilet. They got to go.
No,
outside.
they cannot.
Some dogs can.
Some dogs can.
Those dogs are special.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like, and then it was like I tried not to. Even when I was coming to work, it was like I'm taking an Uber because I'm like I'm not walking around.
And we were still open.
Yeah.
People need their T-shirts.
Yeah, we had the doors closed because it was like, yeah, it was just bad, man. And people, yeah, it was like, and then how long did it last? Like,
It was a better part of a week.
yeah,
And then it kind of came back like 2 weeks later
yeah, because
for a couple of days.
Yeah, these wildfires in Canada are just like, I assume, I don't know how bad they are.
All these things are bad news.
Well, there wasn't any good news in 2023. Name 5 good things that happened in 2023. Go. What about when I-95 collapsed?
What about it?
The driver of
you
a
go.
tanker truck hauling 8,500 gallons of gasoline lost control on a curved off-ramp on the I-95 expressway, causing the truck to flip over, catch fire, leading to the collapse of the northbound lanes in early June 2023. The fire caused the northbound lanes to collapse onto the Cottman Avenue off-ramp and damaged the southbound lanes. But 2 weeks later, they rebuilt it. So that's cool.
Yeah, the driver passed away, unfortunately, but luckily no one else was. It was national news because it was like, this is like a main
It's the corridor.
through line of America, and it was like the one thing that Philadelphia like got done ever efficiently, where it was like
It
they
was very
fixed
impressive.
it in 2 weeks. I mean, I know they sent federal money and stuff, but it was like they had a live stream, you could watch it.
Yeah. I think the way they fixed it was they stacked up a bunch of plastic or cement.
Like balls or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That they made, and it was like they used that they made like a 2-lane, just like
Like a
temporary thing.
Yeah, like a
And
bypass.
now I think the whole 4-lane thing is open, but
Yeah.
there's a billboard on 95 that's just like, we fixed this, John, or something like that.
As soon as it was fixed, they brought the Philly Fanatic and Gritty out to like bless the road. They were the first ones across it.
They hit it with a champagne bottle. They're like, no, and it's like in 15 minutes later, it's like, oh, it's backed up already.
Yeah.
It's already backed up.
Not a minute too soon, because I don't know if you saw any of the video that came out of the detour that people had. Anyone traveling on 95 had to get off and go through the neighborhood and get back on, I guess, on the other side of Aramingo.
Yeah, like take out Delaware Ave or whatever.
So there were all these Instagram and TikTok videos of like road rage incidents that were like boiling over in those 2 weeks. And it's like someone is going to get killed.
Well,
Yeah. It was super impressive that they fixed it in a amount of time. It was actually crazy.
Yeah, and then all the Pennsylvania politicians come out and they brag and they were like, "You didn't
Oh,
think we could do it."
I did
yeah,
it.
they pat
Yeah.
stuff on the back.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, that's one thing. Like, can you do another thing? Like, no.
They were
That
like, "You
was
got
it.
to admit.
You have?
You have to admit."
Remember that time we did
Remember
that
that?
thing, though?
Yes, I admit it.
But yeah, that was like, it was scary because, like, you know.
We thought it was going to be like that for years. We all said,
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
that's
like,
that.
Yeah.
we'll never travel on
We'll never
95 for the rest of our lives.
Never have Sweet Lucy's ever again.
It's like Mad Max times immediately.
Yeah, and then I guess piggybacking off of that, the construction of the Penn's Landing 95 cap started as well, for anyone who doesn't know. After a 2-year delay, preliminary construction has started on the long-awaited project that will put a highway cap over a stretch of Interstate 95. The cap will be home to nearly 12 acres of parkland and seamlessly connect Old City to Delaware River waterfront and Penn's Landing.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Well, that's exciting.
That's something.
gonna be a
That's
park,
the good
so.
news. That's what you got.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. I'm also a little bit like skeptical because they've been talking about this since we
Oh,
were in high
yeah,
school.
Yeah, I'll see it when it happens.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to fix up Penn's Landing.
I guess this whole thing was kind of inspired by the Big Dig in Boston and how they buried their highways.
Oh,
And so, like, it became kind of like fashionable 20 years ago to start coming up with these plans, 25
Okay.
years ago to start coming up with these kind of ideas. But I just listened to a podcast about how the Big Dig was a incredible waste of money and it went way over budget and it didn't alleviate the problems it was supposed to. So there's no winning. You can't.
this episode's a downer.
Sorry.
I'm sorry we're opening with this.
Well,
No, we got to get out of. We got to get
Get it out of
the-
your system.
Yeah, we got to get the bad stuff out first.
All right. Well, the next thing you're going to
Um,
bring up is not a downer.
Yeah, they've
right?
been closing while we're recording this. They've been closing like every other weekend. They've been closing the Washington Street exit to like work on it. Instead of working on it at night and like slowing things down, they've just been closing off for like 2 days and working on it.
And they play that
completely.
song "Everybody's Working for the Weekend."
Yeah, and it's like
That's
it's
why
like,
that's been
you know,
blasting?
That's why you've been hearing it so
That's
much.
why you can't sleep because Loverboy is blasting in the moonlight from a distance.
okay, I'm sorry. More bad news.
Oh,
We got to talk about the Eagles' collapse. The defending NFC champions were the toast of football with the inside track on a repeat Super Bowl appearance. Then
the
came
Super Bowl was fun. The Super Bowl was, even though they lost, it was a good time.
Yeah. Last year, yeah.
Yeah, we talked. That was like right before we stopped, but that was like
That
was
That was the thing that's why we got divorced.
Look, I don't mean to bring up Acme again, but there was like people were in such a good mood and being so into like Philly and South Philly. There was like influencers taking pictures of themselves in front of the Acme sign. Like,
Look, I'm one of them.
like it's like there it is.
I'm finally cool, like a person that shops at Acme.
Like it's like the Welcome to Las Vegas sign,
Yeah,
but it's the
like,
Acme,
yeah,
the giant rock.
Yeah, the guy asking for money out in front. I met him. Yeah, it was fun, but it was also like
It was a downer.
it was pretty soul crushing. I think I talked about this on the podcast right before, but like after they lost, I remember taking a lift to work, and I was just like, it was like 5 days later, and I was like sitting out the window, and I was just like, I can't believe we lost. And it was like, is it worth? And I was like, seriously, like, I was like, is it worth it? Like, what's the point of like getting all like excited for this and having your heart broken? And it was like, is it worth it? And it was like, yeah, it is. Because when we did win, it was like, no, it is worth it.
yeah.
But it sucks.
you can't
it
have the
sucks
highs
so
without the
bad.
lows.
You
I
shouldn't
know.
expect them to win. I mean,
No,
the
I
year
know,
they
but it
won, it
was
was
that
like, oh,
cool
that was
there.
amazing. But you never expect it. Don't get your
I know,
hopes
but
up.
It was right there.
And then this year came the wildest in-season unraveling in NFL history.
That man, yeah, this was like pretty legendary.
It was
honestly.
a 10-1 start. Then the Eagles came undone and limped into.
They were like, remember, it was like they're gonna go undefeated this season. Like
We
like
thought
the
there was a
Dolphins.
possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
the Eagles dropped 5 of 6 games, death spiral punctuated by blowout losses to the 3-12 Cardinals and the 5-11 Jets.
The 40
or no,
they,
Giants.
They
excuse
lost
me.
to the
They
40.
all play in Jersey. Who cares?
Who cares? Same team.
They lost to the 49ers, and that was what did it. After that, it was like they broke them.
Big Dom's
Big Dom became
so a curse.
It was a blessing and a curse because his legend grew after. So Big Dom he does the security for the Eagles, and he during a game, I guess there was like a scuffle between players, kind of, and he was just trying to break it up, and they were like, "You cannot do that.
It's his job. He's just doing his job.
He's security." So they
peanut vendors sell peanuts.
What do you want me to do?
Security sell violence.
Stopping violence.
Stopping violence
So,
with violence.
Yes. Which always
who watches the
who watches the
yeah. who doms the big
Who's Big Dom's Dom? That's what we're saying. We better not let Big Dom hear this. So
clunk our heads together.
Yeah, like the Three Stooges. The Big Dom. So he got kicked out of this game. He was banned from until the playoffs. He was banned from being on the sidelines during the games.
Yo, and Jeffrey Lurie paid his fine.
Yeah, but he became a legend after this because everybody was like,
yeah,
like
sure.
it was like, yo. Like he didn't do nothing, so like now the legend of Big Dom is, and he.
I want a Big Dom jersey.
He did security for the Super Bowl.
He went anyway.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
He
like,
went
well,
anyway.
But yeah,
And the Phillies also kind of collapsed as well.
yes.
8 games into this postseason, the Phillies were on a roll.
The Braves series like elevated it though.
Yeah, they were 7-1. They had their way with the Marlins in the wild card, and then they beat the Braves in the division series, and they easily beat the Diamondbacks in the first 2 games of the LCS. They were hitting .284 as a team. They were outscoring their opponents 46-13.
Right before the playoffs and then into the playoffs, it was like some of the best I've ever seen the Phillies play. It was like
unstoppable.
It was they were hitting home runs like crazy. It was insane.
They out-homered their opponents 19-4.
It was insane
in the postseason.
This series got my wife Joanna into baseball, and actually I'm gonna read. She had this meme that that kept her interested or kind of convinced her, and it's all the Phillies players can be charted on these axes, and it's big boy pinup, hot Latino, Disney prince, and hot dirtbag, and it's like it's a Venn diagram of who fits into what category.
He's right in the middle. Somebody's in the middle of all of them. Castellanos.
Castellanos he's a big boy pinup, a hot Latino, a Disney prince, and a hot dirtbag. And Joanna learned like every player because of this chart.
Huh.
And now she loves it.
And now she loves baseball. And then her heart was broken, and I was like,
yeah, that's called
Philadelphia sports.
Yep.
You get used to it.
That's now you're really a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always like you always see because so many people move in and out of the city every year, and it was like it's always like when there's like a playoff run, everybody's like, oh, like this is fun, like, and it's like yeah, it's fun right now, but it's not gonna be fun in 2 months and for the rest of your life also.
It'll haunt you forever.
Yeah.
And just to put a button on it, the Sixers lost in the second round.
I don't even want to talk about that.
And
I'll
James
talk
Harden's
about it.
gone. All right, we're skipping.
Who?
over.
No,
Who's
we got to talk about it.
You were all in on the Sixers.
Well, they're I've said it before.
You're singing this. We were like, "Hey, Bierman, you're singing the song in our faces."
Yeah, I'm like,
come on.
Yeah.
You can't do that on YouTube.
I'm gonna
You can
bleep all that too.
I don't think anyone owns. We can say it.
It's public domain.
It's so
No,
old.
It was out of key enough that I don't think.
Yeah,
it
you don't know what song I'm. 10, 9, 8. That could be anything. Yeah, the Embiid was MVP last year, which he should have been the year before, but he lost to Jokic. But anyway,
Yeah.
They swept the Nets in the first round, and like literally everybody could have predicted before the season started, they're going to lose to the Celtics in the second round. That's exactly what happened. Embiid got hurt they won the first game, they lost the second game. Embiid got hurt in the third game. Harden scored 42 points in game 4, which was like astounding. And then after that, they didn't do anything. Embiid came back. He didn't play great. They lost. Celtics lost to the Heat. And the Heat
I hadn't even thought about this since.
Yeah, the Heat lost to the Denver Nuggets in the finals. And
it's like it never even happened.
Embiid right now is hurt again, but maybe by the time this comes back, he'll be back. But who
When's
knows?
Embiid gonna bring the mask back? That's my favorite version of Embiid.
Yeah, when he busted his nose and he had to wear like a plastic.
Yeah, he should just wear it
and
in
he
general.
looked like Batman,
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Are the wings good? At least we should look that up. Are the kick? How the kicks doing?
How the Bulldogs doing?
Philadelphia Freedom, the tennis team.
How
for
is
the
Freedom
70s,
doing?
They're good, right? You know what though? Having said all that and being like, oh, well, it broke our hearts. Game 1 of all these seasons, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be watching. So that's how they get you. You always keep crawling back.
What about WrestleMania?
WrestleMania, yeah, this is gonna be in April first time since 1999. We got to do.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Dumb question.
Are you kidding me?
Which
Both nights. It's 2 nights. We got to do a WrestleMania episode before that.
where is it? Which arena is it?
It's
gonna
on. It's gonna be in Lincoln Financial Field.
Oh,
It's-
cool.
It's gonna be sold out both nights. It's gonna be nuts.
Because right now the big story is it's the Rock is gonna fight Roman Reigns or
It was supposed to be, and then it was supposed to be Cody versus Roman. Then like The Rock kind of screwed Cody out of that, and everybody saw through it and was like, "No, we're not accepting this." So we don't really know as of yet what the main event's going to be.
and
We're
the
not
Rock's
sure.
being like a bad guy wrestler.
Yes,
again.
The Rock is a heel because he came back and did like an actual heelish thing that he was like, everyone will love me for it, and everyone was like, no. So he was like, well, now I'm just gonna roll with it.
I always liked Rock better as a bad guy.
Yeah, he's it's fun because like
When he spoke at the Republican National Convention in 2000.
we gotta talk about that someday.
It happened in Philly. That
No,
was.
I agree,
2000.
Trove. That's
Look it up on YouTube
Look it up.
on this very website.
Danilo Cavalcanti, 34, escaped a Chester County prison on August 31st by scaling a prison wall, climbing through razor wire, and jumping from the roof to freedom. His escape triggered a massive manhunt in lush terrain of Longwood Gardens that continued 20 miles north, when police say he slipped through their original perimeter in a stolen van. The frantic manhunt for an escaped killer that sent hundreds of law enforcement agents swarming through terrified communities came to an end after the fugitive was taken into custody 2 weeks later, which is about as long as it took to fix 95.
I know he was probably it was like a murderer or whatever, but
Yeah.
like we all kind of were like rooting for him, right?
We're rooting for him to go to somebody else's house.
No, like just to, like live in the woods and like live in nature and just like you escaped. And when they found him, he was wearing like an Eagles jersey.
Yeah, he said
That
go,
was like-
he said go Birds when they were arresting him.
That was crazy. They found it was in. There was like video of like near Longwood Gardens where it was like
People probably had like their weddings set up for Longwood Gardens, and they book it a year in advance, and then it's sorry,
like
there's a
murder.
fugitive.
There's a murder.
There's a
on the-
murder.
But the fountain's
He's
nice,
using
though.
the beautiful bathrooms.
Yeah. We can go back in the archives. The nicest bathroom in America is at Longwood Gardens,
It's true.
or it was at one year.
Here's a good story. Here's a real one. This is some good news. The Boob Chair Garden.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
At
This actually
Washington
is
Avenue. We missed this one. This was artist Rose Luardo. She set up a boob garden in an empty lot in South Philadelphia. The work was made up of furniture from Luardo's late father's home, covered in boob-shaped plushies. It became a point of interest as locals stopped to see the titty chairs, searching for meaning.
What's the sign right there? It's like Captain
Jesse G's crabs.
Captain Jesse G's crabs. I want that sign so bad.
Yeah, I was walking to work one morning, and it was like it must have just been there like for like a day or two, and I was like, what are these like? I saw it from a distance, and I was like, what is this? And as I got closer, and I was like, it looks like a chair full of boobs, and I know it's early, but like it's obviously not that. That's just ridiculous. But it was like, no, it actually isn't. I saw like the next couple of days, I saw somebody have they like stole one of the boob cushions and were like carrying around, and I was like, I know, we all know where that's from. You stole that.
It's pretty unique. Yeah, they didn't just like get that.
I was just
Bible.
saying, people didn't really mess with it for
No,
It
no,
lasted a
was
while.
yeah, it was like no, this is art. Like this is art. Everybody babies love it. I mean, who don't
love a boob?
everybody could get into it.
Correct.
It was like they were there for a while too.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks, and then I think
Nature
really
took it back.
Yeah, yeah.
the rain is what did them in.
Yeah.
Another happy story or another positive story. There was no snow in 2023.
It's probably also not a good thing in the long run. But
well, it's probably
it
bad
was
for
nice
the climate.
in the short term because I hate the snow.
Who wants to shovel? Before February 2024, the last measurable snowfall that blanketed the Philadelphia area was back on January 29th, 2022. Officially, Philly will have had fewer days with observed snow in the last 10 years than any similar period in the since the National Weather Service began taking measurements at Philadelphia International Airport in the winter of 1940.
Well, we got snow this year.
Yeah, in February 2024. No snow segue. Carl Weathers died.
That was this was maybe the biggest
What a gut punch.
bummer.
Carl Weathers, who starred as Apollo Creed in the first 4 Rocky films opposite Sylvester Stallone, died February 1st, 2024. His manager, Matt Luber, confirmed to Variety he was 76.
They were about to do a Super Bowl commercial for something where Gronk was like, I guess last year he tried to kick a field goal. It was something, whatever. So in this year's Super Bowl commercial, they were leading up and they got Carl Weathers to like teach him, almost like his role as Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
That's true.
Where he was like he was like the Jedi teaching him, and he was also on The Mandalorian, but he wasn't a Jedi.
No.
But then the Super
Brief
Bowl, he
cargo.
died like the week before the Super Bowl, and during the actual Super Bowl commercial, they had like a Carl Weathers. It was like, "Thank you, Carl," which was nice that they did that, but it was really sad. We were big fans of his. If you want to go back, we did an episode on each Rocky movie.
Good plug.
So far, we didn't do.
Call to action.
We haven't done Creed, but we did Rocky 1.
Well, he's not in the Creed movies.
Yeah, but like we did 1 through Rocky Balboa, but he's there in spirit. They talk about him, but yeah, he's not in the actual Creed movies.
I really appreciate his work as Apollo, but I think my favorite appearance of his is on Arrested Development. He plays himself.
I didn't know this, but I was reading after he died. Mitch Hurwitz, the guy who he was like the producer of Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, you were telling us.
He was like, they went to him and they wanted to do a Rocky 3 parody. That was what they wanted him to do, where they're running on the beach. And he was like, Carl Weathers was like, it's not going to be a Rocky joke, right? And then he was like, no, of course not. and Carl Weathers pitched to them. He was like, how about I do where I'm like a broke, washed up celebrity? And he's ripping Tobias off into giving him acting
lessons. It's so great.
Yeah.
Great show.
He's like, well, I only have $1,200. He's like, well, $1,200 is what I charge for acting. And he just popped up. Even in The Mandalorian, it was the first season when everybody was in love with Baby Yoda. When Baby Yoda was like
I'm still in love with Baby Yoda.
But everybody was like, wow, like we love this thing. And there was the episode where he first meets Baby Yoda. His character meets it, and it's like crawling towards him, and he's like, this thing's gonna eat me.
Great timing.
He was so funny, man. And he was in
It's a
like
real loss.
Action Jackson. He was in like so many
Predator.
other things. He's in Predator. He gets his arm. He's in one of the greatest, the handshakes.
The greatest meme of all time. Well, I'm pretty sure that's everything that happened while we were away. Do you guys have any kind of recommendations or experiences you want to let everybody know about it from 2023?
Yeah, sign up for our Patreon.
Do we have it? Is it up and running?
It'll be by the time this is out. It'll be up.
Yeah, we used to do jokes where it was like, sign up for our Patreon.
But now,
being like, isn't that annoying when podcasts do that? Man, that's annoying, right? But now it's
Hit subscribe, ring the bell, sign up for our Patreon.
Now it's
leave
not
a comment.
Now it's not as funny because we really are.
I gotta pay for all of this.
Yeah, I gotta eat. I'm broke. I'm buying too many comic books. That was what I really did all year. I read too many comic books. That was a problem. So a while back, we thought about doing an episode of Philadelphia in the future, in like the far future, what it was going to be like. So I wrote things, and we're probably not going to do that, but I'm trying to recycle these bits. I don't want to write new stuff. So we could pretend that this was what we've done in the past. So this is what happened all year. Trov gets addicted to Tiffany doors. The intervention goes well, and he turns his addiction to growing his own bathtub long hots. Zito, Star Trek fan fiction, gets optioned for a movie, a Star Trek porn parody whose name we can't say on the air. Brian starts breeding and training ferrets, starting with his first 2, Taconi and Palmyra. South Felllini hits a big one. Senator Kevin Bacon sports one of their Smooth Move X-Lax shirts on TV. They're later brought by Disney for an undisclosed sum. Disney is later brought by the CVS for an even more undisclosed sum. So that's really
Those were good.
I hope at least 3 of those come true.
The good 3.
I kind of want to introduce recommendation corner. What you reading, what you watching, what you eating.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of places I've eaten, but I'll shout out Piero, which is a Venezuelan place off South Street. They're incredible. Their sandwiches are huge. They have tostones, which are like fried plantain, and you dip them and stuff. Oh, they're so good.
And are they a new place or just places?
They're
new to
new.
you?
They're new to me, but I think they are kind of new. I think it's 4th, off of 4th and South.
Oh. I recommend the halal truck outside of CVS.
You don't have to leave the block.
I don't leave the.
Get
I don't leave
anything.
yeah.
You can get shirts here. You can get razors at CVS and halal meats at the halal cart.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend Kiku Sushi. It is the sushi place that opened up in my neighborhood. I absolutely love it.
So we don't really like to go too far.
Well, I mean, I think convenience is what makes Philadelphia great, and so your neighborhood delicacies are what's most attractive.
Should we call things we don't like?
I mean, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I have a thing that I do not like, which happened last year, which was, and I'm pretty sure if I didn't say this on the podcast in 2022, because this is when it started happening, people started going to Dollar Dog Nights, and they started throwing hot dogs all over the place.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
they've been doing Dollar Dog Night
Forever.
It's never been a problem.
literally 28 years.
It's one of the best days in all year in Philadelphia.
They do it twice a year.
We have a sticker for it.
Yeah,
we have.
should have. You can order this because then after the pandemic, no one knows how to act or whatever, and everyone's being on their fucking telephones. I'm sorry, I'm cursing. Or they're doing whatever, and they keep throwing hot dogs. They're just throwing them up in the air, and people are getting mustard and shit on people. The Phillies are like, don't do this. Stop doing it. They did it all last year. This year, they're like, nope, we're not doing Dollar Dog Night. You just ruined it. I'm sorry.
That's why we can't have nice things.
It was never a problem for decades.
I think the Fanatics set the bad example to begin with by shooting hot dogs
It's
into the
never
crowds.
been a problem though, until now.
I
And
learned
it's
it from
ruined.
watching you, Fanatic.
It's ruined.
I'm sorry. I said let's complain about things, but I will too.
Sure, you
Too
got
many
one?
people riding a bike on the sidewalk. Ride on the street. There's even bike lanes for you. Don't ride on this. I don't care if you have an electric bike, a regular ass bike. Stop riding on the sidewalk.
Hot take.
Hot take.
I want to get one of those e-bikes though.
No, but ride in the street.
No, I'm scared. Yeah,
Okay. I think that's pretty much all there is to know about 2023.
that was it.
Please check out our website, www.southfellini.com, for cool Philly-inspired merch. Visit us at 1507 East Passyunk Avenue in beautiful South Philadelphia. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. We're at South Felllini everywhere. Follow along and join the conversation. We want to hear from you. Look out for new episodes of our podcast every Monday. Stay safe. Wash your hands. We'll get them next year.
Yeah. Please
Leave a
come back.
comment.
Please come back. Tell your friends.
Subscribe.
Tell everybody, please.
Ring the bell.
We need the help.
Like. Up. Thumbs up.